I'm Ben from Memberium. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add social login to your site, specifically Facebook social login. This means that when users come to your site and access the login page here, they will actually have an option to log in with Facebook. So as you can see right now, that option is not present, and I'm going to show you how to set it up, and let me give you a preview of what it will look like. Now, the first thing we need to do to actually set up social login is to install a plugin. In this case, we're going to use NextEnd Social Login. Now, if you don't have that plugin on your site, which you probably don't, just simply come up to Add New on the plugins and then just search NextEnd. That's really all you have to search. Once you search NextEnd, it's going to show up as one of the top options. In this case, NextEnd Social Login and Register. And right now, it's currently maintained and published by NextEnd Web. And you can see it has over 200,000 active installs, 5-star rating, and it is being regularly updated. Alright, so now that we have that installed, we'll actually need to go ahead and set it up. And in order to do that, we simply come over here to the settings, and then we go to NextEnd Social Login tab. Now, NextEnd provides a lot of different options that you can integrate with. And these are all the popular social login features. And I'm not going to go through all of them. This video, I'm primarily focusing on Facebook login, but I'm sure the similar steps would apply for the other providers. So on Facebook, you're going to go ahead and click Get Started, and you're going to be provided some instructions here. It's going to tell you to create a Facebook app, and the instructions I have found are being updated pretty regularly. And so I'm not going to go through the instructions here because they do change. Facebook tends to change how its developer APIs and apps work, and so these instructions might change, and I want the video to kind of stay useful for as long as possible. And so what I'm going to do is just show you what it looks like on the current end of Facebook. So you'll have to go to developers.facebook.com, and if that ever changes, then the plugin, I'm sure, will have the correct thing. And then you'll need to create an app up here. You'll press Create App, and essentially once you create the app, I have one right here, then you're going to be provided some different options. And inside the app, you create these things called like products. And in this case, they have a product called Facebook Login, and that's the one that you're going to use. Now, the reason you have to create this is how it actually integrates with Facebook. And so what you're going to do is you're going to come up to the app ID. This is the first thing that you need to copy and save here. All right, and so once you're done setting it up, you press OK like so. And it's going to ask you for that app ID, and it's going to ask you for the app secret. And in order to get the app secret, you just come to Settings Basic. The app ID is right here. It's also right up here at the top. And we have to show the app secret, so we'll enter in our password and we'll copy that secret. Let me close that out. All right, and then once you have the app ID and secret in here, you press save, and NextEnd checks this to make sure that it is good. And so as you can see, you'll press verify settings. This is NextEnd going to be checking it. So it does its thing right here, and it kind of redirects you to Facebook. And then as you can see, it says works fine, it's enabled, and now Facebook login is done. Now there are a couple more options. You can add a prefix on register. I wouldn't recommend doing this. There's also a fallback username, and that's just, I guess there's some issues. You'll need to play around with these settings, but in my case, I've left these alone. There are more options as well. However, these require that you purchase, a premium plugin, and so I have not tested these, but these do give you more options, and there's other areas that you can do. The next thing that you need to do is come to the Global Settings tab, and we need to change one more setting. That is, if you scroll all the way down and you're on this General tab still, where it says Membership, make sure this is set to Enabled. If it's not enabled, then people won't actually be able to register with social login. So if they don't already have an account on your site, they won't be able to actually log in. Alright, so once that's done and saved, make sure again membership is enabled. That way you're allowing the registrations. You need to come to Memberium settings. And so NextEnd will register and create the user here inside of WordPress. However, we need that user to be pushed over into Infusionsoft as well. That way we can apply tags to the user. They can add credit cards for purchases through the Infusionsoft API and those things. And so in order to do that, we're going to come over here to the Security tab, Memberium Settings and Security. And we have this option right here, second from the bottom, sync new registrations to Infusionsoft. Just turn that on. And so what this does is that when NextEnt actually registers and creates a user here in WordPress, Memberium sees that and it creates a user in Infusionsoft with the same email address and information and begins syncing the two records together, just as it would if the user made a purchase to an order form or if they registered, any other way. All right, so once that's done, that's all there is to it. So if we come back over here to this window and we refresh, you'll actually see that the social login button automatically shows up. So if you're using Mem login form, that is the shortcode that provides the login form, then you'll actually see this button right here automatically. And so now all you have to do is simply log in with Facebook. What we'll do now is we will simply sign in as the user. So I'll go ahead and log out of my admin account. And I'm going to log in to Facebook here. Now, you're not actually going to see anything just simply because I'm already signed into Facebook. And so you can see that the whole thing is just kind of, it took me to Facebook very quickly, but then it brought me back. And then now, it's telling me that I'm signed in. All right, so now that I did sign in and I just switched back to my admin account, you can see that running this search now, I actually, have my user created. So my username, Ben Denny, you can see that my profile picture from Facebook is actually here, and of course my email address. If I actually click into this record and scroll all the way down to the bottom, what we're going to see is that I am connected to Infusionsoft. So you can see this is the Memberium user data. My contact ID is 1231. And here's all the info in Infusionsoft. So what we'll do here is I'll actually just manually go to my record, since I think at the time of recording this video, Infusionsoft is having a little bit of issues with the contact search, but that's okay. So we'll manually enter the ID, 1231. And you can see here that the email address did pull in correctly. So email is ben@memberium.com. And so again, below this video, I'm going to have written documentation. If you're watching this on YouTube or some other platform that's not the Memberium site, go to memberium.com/Facebook-login. I put the URL on the screen right here so you can see that. And this will have updated information on how to connect all this and how to set it up. But ultimately, that's all there is to it. So once you install the plugin, enable those options that I showed you, then you're going to have the Continue with Facebook button. And we'll create other guides as needed on how to do it with the other social platforms such as Google, Twitter, maybe the Apple ID one could be popular as well. However, as it is now, this is the Facebook login. This is how you set it up, and it is pretty straightforward. The most complicated part is getting that app ID and app secret from Facebook. But once you have secured that, then it's as simple as putting that into the NextEnt social login plugin, turning on the option in Memberium to sync the new registrations to Infusionsoft, and that's all there is to it. Hopefully you found this useful, and maybe you'll implement Facebook login on your site. Have a great one, and I'll see you in the next video.